Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Last run was a lot of fun. Had a little spice, a little sweet, a little sour, and a little salt. This time, I love the stats. Don't love the speed, but I love the stats. Love the speed now. 3WMJ DLYE DLE 1.08 speed. So, many people have correctly pointed out I have been using compost horribly. This is a good opportunity. The universe works in mysterious ways. All of a sudden, we have an opportunity to use it perhaps a bit more effectively. I just noticed we have Batwing as well. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the way we should use compost is on a room with a bunch of garbage. Use compost to generate flies from the garbage. Or a room where we can't access things, like this one right here. And then use that as a base to get more flies in the future. Oh, coins become spiders, or maybe consumables become spiders? I don't know. You'd think for the number of times I've used this item, and people have genuinely tweeted me many times in the past and been like, here's how it works, idiot. And I'm like, please don't call me that. Only my wife gets to call me an idiot. And unless you're posting under an alt account, that's not Kate. I don't want it. Brother Bobby, in a weaker moment in my life, I might have considered taking that Brother Bobby. But I have Isaac's self-respect now. And I don't take a Brother Bobby, just the trash that the game chooses to give us, thinking that maybe in the future, as a result of taking that Brother Bobby, they'll give me a mom's knife. Nah, dude. That's how an Isaac doormat thinks. And we ain't gonna be a doormat anymore. We're gonna be a triple-digit streak daddy. But in like a, not in a weird, you know, just like a, well, what I'm going to say is that we're going to father this game with our genes. Okay. Moving on as quickly as possible. Like here, both of these are important, but those, okay. Some of those became flies. It's no big deal. Moving the goalposts a little, but I'm like, you know, even if we don't use it, okay, not worth it. Even if we don't use compost 100% effectively, that doesn't mean it's not worth it. But it does mean that we're wasting some of the opportunity that we've been given as a result of starting with what is actually like a pretty great item. Don't think it's worth using there. And I don't want to convert a luck upgrade into a fly. Excuse me, I'm going to be leaving, please. Thank you. Got to step on the button. A lot of spider-related items I don't necessarily completely understand. I can't believe you made it through the spider army. It's like a Wild Wild West sort of situation. Hello? You know what the dream said? I've got it, okay? I got it sorted. We find an arcade. Okay, we gotta, that's step one, and we haven't gotten there yet, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But the idea in my head is that we find an arcade, play it, use our compost charge on the money that's on the ground. I do see the tinted rock. It's just, it's a long trip. See you next fall. You know what? I was going to say we'll get it on the second pass, but we're going to get it right now. Because it's going to take forever to come back around. And it's small rock. This room, I don't want to say poorly designed. I'm just saying, the fact that you have to go around over and over, it's tilting me ever so slightly. Still, the damage upgrade, obviously highly worth it. This is probably a room where we could consider doing something like that. Just gonna be honest with you, it doesn't really seem like we're liable to get an arcade on this floor. You know, we're gonna hit a terminal. It's possible the boss room could intersect with the arcade using another room as a, you know, tertiary interceptor. I actually shook my head at myself, like, what are you saying? They could be adjacent. That's the way that we would describe that in human language. Didn't even need to use the bomb, but in my defense, come on. Batwing is a little unreliable. You can cut me some slack on that one for sure. You know what else? Oh, dude, give me fishtail. That's hard to complain. +2 damage increase? Sure. So we also are going to skip this deal with the devil. You probably don't need me to tell you. It is essentially extremely trash. You know what? The second secret room, I do believe it's there, but we're going to move on. One of these days, the game is going to be forced to acquiesce and give us a deal with the angel. It's one of the rare acquiesce uses that actually fits with this dictionary definition. I'm going to try it. Magician. The greatest showman. Before you ask, I have not seen The Greatest Showman. If I'm being honest, it's not. I don't have anything against the movie. It's just unlikely I will ever see a Hugh Jackman-fronted musical of my own volition, so it would require a unique circumstance. I don't dislike musicals, but I rarely seek them out, you know? I loved La La Land. La La Land, 100% a musical. It's not a movie with music. That's a musical. Loved Whiplash. Not a musical. Movie with music in it. I don't want Teleporter. Like, I've never seen Hairspray. I've never seen Mamma Mia. I was in college when High School Musical came out. Easiest way to get a college student not to see your movie. Name it after the area of their life that they just passed. Immediately makes it clear it is not for your target demographic. I'm trying to think of other recent ones, but you know, I haven't seen Disney's Sing. Again, didn't seem like that movie was I was the target audience for. I'm not saying it's bad. Haven't seen Mamma Mia or Mamma Mia 2. Here I Go Again. My, how could I forget you? But I bring up The Greatest Showman because I read something that that movie is still actually in theaters and it came out in February. Ugh. That is insane. That's the kind of thing, it did happen in human history, and it's not in like 100 theaters, you know, it's in like 15 theaters. But still, for a movie to have a run like that in the modern day and age is absurd. You know what? I'll take it. When I was a kid, it happened very, very occasionally. You know, I was 9 or 10 when Titanic came out. After it came out, it was in theaters forever. Same year, Toy Story came out. Toy Story was also... I remember I saw Toy Story, I don't know what month it was, and I went back to the movie theater in the summer, and they were like, Toy Story, right? Maybe I'm getting 2 years mixed up here, but I went back to the movie theater, and they were like, at 8 p.m. tonight, we're playing Toy Story. Even as like an 8-year-old, I was like, it's a long time for a movie to still be in the movie theater. But it's definitely, you know, like not the norm is what I'm trying to say. Mr. Dolly. Dude, we got nothing else keeping us on this floor. Let's get the heck out of here. Let's see. How long was Toy Story in theaters? Release date was 1995, so I was wrong on that one. Hold on. How long was it? This is Google cannot answer my question. Toy Story 4 gets release date. Who cares? Not who cares, but you know what I mean. Toy Story. Box office performance. Give it a second. Maintained the #1 position for the next 2 weekends and became the highest grossing domestic film of 1995. I can't find a good answer, to be honest with you. I'm shocked. Shocked that it grossed more than Batman Forever. And by shocked, I mean... not surprised at all. I mean, one of these movies
feels like I'm walking on sunshine.
Was part of a storied film franchise that has endured into the modern day, and the other one is Batman Forever. I don't want to insult Batman Forever. I was a huge Batman fan when I was a kid. I didn't grow out of it. I just happened to be, you know, at the exact right age to be into Batman when both Batman and Robin and Batman Forever came out. 2 of the greatest cinematic abortions ever released onto the film-going public. Even as a kid, I was like, really? Tommy Lee Jones, you would debase yourself like this? Regardless, I think Batman and Robin is so bad it's good. Best thing about that movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger constantly using freezing puns. Just, I mean, horrible, but also hilarious for all the wrong reasons. The best part about Batman Forever, I hope I said Batman for, sorry, best part about Batman and Robin was the Arnold Schwarzenegger. The best part about Batman Forever, and this is not a joke, it's Seal's Kiss from a Rose. I love that song. I don't think there's any reason to be ashamed for loving that song. I can be at least a music snob, but I think Kiss from a Rose genuinely bangs. It's also so weird that that's the song that came out of a Batman movie, but anyway. Well, it's a great room for compost, potentially. Could we build a foundation of flies and start, you know, getting something done as a result? Maybe. Red hearts? Okay, thank you. It's gonna work one day, dude. Slowly pilfering all the resources, whatever you want to freaking take my spirit heart. I'm mad that I walked into you. Alright, well, you're gonna get blown up. Don't hit the judgment, thank you. Every time they give me a half red heart. Like, don't do me any favors. Okay, we get a speed upgrade. You know what? I'm never coming back again, like a Fleetwood Mac song. Nah. Although, we do use this all the time. Compost, that is. Even if we use it improperly, which is becoming clear is happening every single time as well. Can't believe I thought... This is what shakes me to the core, by the way. I can't believe I thought Toy Story 1 came out in 1997. As soon as I saw that it came out in 1995, I was like, you stupid idiot, of course it came out in 1995. It's like you're not even paying attention. Yo, the stats upgrade from Dim Bulb, extremely huge. We get up to 11.43 damage on the caves too, which is a little bit above average, especially with what is basically a max fire rate right now. I can get down with it. I know, by the way, there's stories from like the... I'm not saying they don't count, but there's stories from like the 30s. Gone with the Wind was in theaters for like 6 years. Yeah, it's because, you know, they made a movie a year. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it wasn't like, you know, Superman came out and then 2 weekends later is Guardians of the Galaxy. If a movie was good, you're like... It must have been weird. I guess it's probably a more natural kind of like development than this. But imagine like movies before televisions existed. Like, I think about this sometimes because when I was a kid, if you wanted to watch an episode of a TV show that you really like, you're like, oh, I really like that episode of The Simpsons. I hope that it comes on again at some point in my lifetime. I'll check the TV guide to see, because I can't just rewatch it at will, you know. It's and that sounds antiquated at this point. But imagine seeing a movie and then maybe it leaves theaters. You may never see it again for your entire life, but you may never have the opportunity. You're like, well, what do I get the home version? Okay, Mr. Howard Hughes, I guess I'll get my own film projector in a special room in my basement that lets me watch cinematic films in a home context. Get a load of Mr. John D. Rockefeller Sr. over here. What do you think, there's some kind of magical disc I could have that would just contain the movie and play it on my radio? Okay, like, I'm sorry, Compost. It's not you, it's me, but actually. Like, I'm clearly just misusing you, but this is the right idea for us at the present moment in our lives. Yo, okay. Why did I think that I could play you twice? You are not a demon judgment. I think these are the right trinkets. I mean, these are really, really good trinkets for us right now. And Dim Bulb is the exact trinket you want when you're rolling Guppy's head. You don't want Illuminated Bulb. You gotta jump through some hoops. I could use the HP. I'm just being honest with you. Wow! You know what? I'll give you one more chance. I'm so offended, I'm gonna give you one more chance. Alright. Had to be done. Gave it a shot. I know there were extra coins outside, but I wasn't willing to jump through that hoop. Okay. HP very low, but stats very, very good. Imagine, it must have been the same, like, if you went and saw, like, a classical music performance in the 17 or 1800s. Like, how did people remember music they liked back then? This sounds ridiculous, but I'm actually being serious. Like, you know, you hear a song on the radio, you're like, oh, I like that. Imagine not hearing it for, like, the next 20 years. Unless you hired somebody to play in, like, your garden. How would you remember anything about it? How does it go again? It was, bum, 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 bum. You know, like, I don't know. I heard it once when I was 7. And then they haven't invented physical media yet, so... Must have been hard for something to... Oh, you idiot. Actually, like, Ren and Stimpy myself there. Must be hard for, like, word of mouth to travel back in the 1800s. Hey, I just heard a great symphony. It's called Beethoven Symphony No. 5. It goes dun 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 dun. You're like, oh, thanks, bro. I'll keep an eye out for that. Next time I'm accidentally at the Vienna Symposium, I'll be like, hey, Beethoven, could you play that Symphony No. 5 that goes bum 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 for me? Wait, is this Depths one? Okay. Must have been hard. It's not like today. You know, today they're like, oh, some Portland 4-year-old just released the hottest EP of the year. 10 seconds later, people are in Twitch chat going, it's overrated. I can't. Shut up about it, please. You know? Back then, it was like, hey, my name's Frederick Chopin. I've written the song that will become synonymous with grief. Stop. And people were like, yeah, whatever, buddy. We're listening to Franz Liszt play his Hungarian waltz right now. It bangs. Get away. Maybe in 200 years we'll appreciate you. Or not. Get fudged. Oh, this is a little dangerous, right? Do you really want to stake the entire streak on stepping on this? By the way, I am a fool. What happened to Guppy's head? Secondary. You know what? I'm willing to take this. Now I'm willing to step on this. And it all worked out. But that was very scary. The reason I didn't want to take it first is because if I stepped on the spikes after I picked it up, I'd be killed instantly, and there's only a 50% chance for Guppy's head to bring me back. I'm willing to take a... No, I'm not willing to take a risk on this. This is a very... We have to be a baby on this run, because we want to buy Spirit Hearts. There we go. Alright. Maybe try not walking on the spikes, by the way. It'll make your life a lot easier. But, yeah, maybe try not doing that either. But, the other thing is, you might as well be walking on the spikes. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Still gonna be on pace. I mean, again, the stats are great. The run's great. I've made some mistakes in my life. And on this run, a little Freudian slip. Now, the idea of running dim bulb and illuminated bulb is kind of hilarious, if not incredibly idiotic. We're gonna stay away from that and definitely not do it because it's a little bit stupid. But it is also funny. Effectively, we have an all stats up all the time. I don't really want to augment that by getting an all stats up all the time and a damage up all the time. Replace that damage up with an all stats up none of the time that matters. Like, yeah, as we're walking room to room, we'll move slightly faster. Incredible. You know what I am willing to do since we have the Ankh? Bomb here and find a secret room. I definitely was not going to say spend a Spirit Heart walking into the curse room in the hopes of becoming Guppy. That would be very foolhardy, and I would never suggest that. Alright, it's all coming together. All I'm trying to say is that we live in a beautiful world of being able to experience things that we like over and over and over. That's what I meant to do. But maybe people in the future will look back on where we are now. And they'll be like, wow, what do you think it was like to be alive in 2018? Where if you ate a delicious meal that was terrible for you, you couldn't just Nah. You couldn't just endlessly replay the taste in your head to trick your brain into thinking you were tasting it, and instead you had to go eat it again and, like, you know, sacrifice some of your physical health. How stupid is that? Brain? Play creme brulee. It's delicious. It's weird, right? Because, like, music, I think, is one of the more easily recreated mediums in the brain. Like, when I think about a song, it's not quite as good as listening to a song that I want to hear, but it's okay. Like, in my head, I can sort of recreate the pathways of, you know, hey now, you're my all-star, get your game on, go. And movies it's harder, you know, there's, I guess, more bandwidth or something like that. I don't even want to pick it up, like, allow me, no, that's a slap in the face. That's not a slap in the face, that could be really good. Like, when you're like, if you, in your brain, replayed every scene from Reservoir Dogs, to me that just sounds tedious. To watch Reservoir Dogs, I'd be like, dude, I'll bring the popcorn. But for food, it's like in my head right now, if I conjure the taste of, you know, like a Cheeto, I can sort of get it. Like, I can remember what it tastes like, but it's not nearly the same as eating it. We got to get to work on that. Something that tricks the brain into thinking it's eating. Or you could just build good habits and acclimate your taste buds to enjoying the tastes of things that are not just oven-baked corn syrup and other derivatives from the state of Iowa. Okay, you know what? You're right. Is that what you wanted to hear? I hope so. We gulped both of our incredible trinkets. That's amazing. We've been to our item room. We have not been to the shop, but we have no money. So this is where we want to be. We may also do boss rush. We may do boss rush. Rosary, relic. Oh my god, there's lots of good stuff here. We're gonna take the relic. 2 reasons. It's the best item. Except for money equals power, we don't have very much money. And we only have to spend a bomb to pick it up. Plus, if we die and we... Ooh, you fool. If we die and we come back with the Ankh, we'll be very happy to have it. Hey, stop moving around, you jerk. You know, it's going to be useful for us long term. Not just for a couple of fights here. It actually basically doesn't matter to me if I die on the fight. But, you know, I'm going to keep up the appearance of trying to win as much as possible. Because I would prefer... Now I care a little bit. I would prefer to live and... I mean, if we could rebuild ourselves and our HP via the relic, even better. But I'd like to get the next item because we're already here. It's not like it should be hard once we start to get payouts. Oh, I meant to say peyote. My mistake. That'd be a weird left turn for us to take. Did you guys see that the Yodel Kid prophecy I made of him dropping the hottest EP of 2018 is coming true? Joe Budden tweeted and said, y'all's acting like Yodel Kid didn't just drop the best EP of 2018. And if rapper and playable fighter in Def Jam Vendetta, Joe Budden says it, it must be true. Don't sleep on Mason, I keep forgetting his last name and confusing him with Mason Raymond, former Vancouver Canucks player. Don't sleep on Mason Ramsey, that's his name. I still think I want him to just release more covers of songs that already have yodels, like The Price is Right cliffhanger song, Yodel-a-hee, Yodel-a-hee, Yodel-a-hee-hoo. Instead, he's got this, you know, new country thing going on that I absolutely despise, but I did still buy 100 copies of it on SoundCloud regardless. I don't know how SoundCloud works. But I do support the music industry in a big way. I'm not asking them, you know, if you're a musician, you don't have to thank me. But I pay for Google Play Music Unlimited. It's $14 or $15 a month. So, you know, I'm not trying to act like a big shot, but I'm very generous, as you can tell. Can I give you another one for pay what you want video games? I tend to pay more than the average. I look at it and I say, you know what? When I was younger, on these humble bundles, I don't know if I ever got a humble bundle. I gotta see. I mean, it's the same as last round, but alright, that's interesting. I don't think I ever have purchased a humble bundle for 1 cent. I will say, I don't think you're a jerk if you do. And I mean that sincerely. You know, the thing is, buying a humble bundle for 1 cent is a little cheesy. You're not getting one over on anybody. Like, that's why it says pay what you want, right? But you basically are asking, you know, maybe like 8 organizations, including a charity, to split a single penny, which is a little insulting. But I'm of the opinion, well, maybe this isn't totally fair, but if you're gonna pay a cent for it, you probably weren't gonna buy it, any of the products in there at close to full price anyway. I don't know, has that ever happened? Now, I think you're a scumbag if this happens. If you're looking at like, hey, this is a $15 game, I put it on my Steam wish list, then it ends up in a humble bundle, and you're like, sick! This and 15 other games for literally a penny. That's a little bit cheesy. But you know, I don't think it's nobody's gonna find it to be a revelation. There are places you can get video games for free. If you wanted to have gotten it for free, you have alternative means. So it's just the convenience, I guess, of getting it on a humble. At least you're given, I mean, you're not really giving something. I'm inclined to say, look, maybe this makes me sound elitist, but I don't think it does. A penny is basically 0. If you see me at PAX and you go, hey, NL, check this out, you gave me a penny, I would say thank you, but inside, I would be like, what am I supposed to do with this? Combine it with 100 other similar donations and buy a very, very small cup of coffee? Like, it's worthless. 1 cent is worthless, at least in North America. I was watching a show about a Honduran prison that's completely, like, aggressively underfunded by the Honduran government. Every inmate gets 47 cents a day in food. 1 penny is like 2% of the daily calories of a Honduran prisoner. And this is a prison for really, really, really bad people that the government, and I'm not trying to say they can't rehabilitate, but like that the government was like, well, we can't morally or legally just like abandon them, but we're gonna do the next best thing. That's, again, it's a little elitist, but I'm just saying that puts it into perspective how much a penny really costs, you know? If you can give more, you should give more. Like for one hand clapping, which by the way, a video a lot of people enjoyed, and I appreciate your support on that video. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna get a kick out of it. You'll know in 2 seconds if you're gonna get a kick out of it. It's a platform where you use your voice to solve puzzles. So they'll give you a melody like Jeremy, and then you go Jeremy, and then it creates the platform if you matched it properly. And if you don't, then you go Jeremy, Jeremy. You know, you just, if that annoyed you, you're not alone, but the video may also not be for you. You know, I mentioned it, but the game is pay what you want on itch.io. Suggested donation $2. Not trying to ball out, but I gave him 12. And then when I finished it, I was like, even though the game was only 25 minutes long, I don't feel bad about giving them $12 because I got a lot of enjoyment. I also think, you know, can I betray my own kind a little bit here? I think the rules are like different for YouTubers and streamers. Like, I think if you're gonna play the game and, you know, make money off of it yourself, you should support above and beyond what the average is if you have the means, at least. You know, there's huge videos of that game done by huge YouTubers. I'm not assuming malice on any of them, but if any of those YouTubers that got 500,000 views in the videos paid $2 for the game, I think that's kind of a scumbag move. I know that's the suggested donation. I'm just saying, you know? Because there's like that cam software that maps like an animal's face to yours, and so it looks like a fox is playing, it looks like a dog is playing, you know, you get the idea. I remember there was like a... Oh, dude, we got the advantage of playing that, which is hilarious. But there's a little bit of a kerfuffle, because they were like, hey, if you want to use it for personal enjoyment, it's like $30. If you're a streamer and you want to monetize your use of face rig, you need to have a custom license, and that's going to cost you another $30 on top of it. And a lot of streamers were like, this is an outrage. And I was kind of like, that seems generous to me. I'm glad a lot of companies haven't caught on, and I don't think it would ever work like this, because again, PR is worth a lot, and the bad press that you would get from doing this would be absurd. And also, the line between, you know, who is a streamer, who isn't a streamer, is very thin these days. You know, a lot of people stream without being professional streamers. Is it fair that if you have one viewer, you have to pay twice as much to use face rig on your stream? You know, for you to pay $30, if you're just getting started on Twitch, that's a lot of money. For me to pay $30 is a business expense, and it might sound callous or that I'm talking down to people, but that's just, you know, the economics of the situation. I'm not saying it should be $30 for a brand new person and $3,000 for someone who's getting started, because then you get into like just, you know, you've ruined your own company sort of situation. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I get that the line is thin, but I'm kind of surprised that, like, and there's no way to enforce it. I guess the thing is, I'm not suggesting that a company like Telltale Games be like, hey, if you want to buy the game, it's $20. If you want to stream it, it's $40. Like, if you're a partnered Twitch streamer and you're going to play the entirety of the game, it costs more. In a perfect world, I actually think that maybe that's not a terrible decision. And I think that's a responsible opinion to have as a content creator, you know? It's going to ruffle some people a little bit. Again, I'm not suggesting that it should be the model, but I'm just suggesting it probably wouldn't be that out of left field, you know? I played all of Life is Strange through on my on Twitch. I enjoyed it immensely. I made fun of parts of it that I thought were ridiculous, but never in a way that I would describe as mean-spirited. And whenever people ask me how I feel about Life is Strange, I say it's really good. It was a fresh take on the Telltale style adventure game formula. There's some twists that it takes that I don't necessarily, you know, jive with, but simultaneously I thought it was cool. I don't really like Before the Storm, but that's a different story. But, you know, if you're Square Enix, or however you pronounce the other one, Square Onyx, Geodude, how does it look from your perspective? You know, did me playing the game sell more copies? Or did people that were going to play the game watch it and go, I'm not buying it now? Or did people that were unaware of the game watch it and go, hey, this looks cool, but rather than buy it, I'm just going to watch this guy play it? Or maybe people watched me play Life is Strange and went, this is fun, and then when Life is Strange Before the Storm came out, they bought it themselves. You know, again, that's the thing, is that to the best of my knowledge, there's not that many people... not that many companies, I should say, like tracking analytics specifically on like the long tail. And, you know, that's why in these discussions, things can come across ignorant or uninformed, I guess. It's just a prickly issue, is what I'm saying. I feel that way. And again, it's a hard argument to have. And I don't think I'm necessarily in the minority when I express this opinion, but there are people that definitely very vehemently disagree with this. I think if you stream a game, it works, and you've monetized your stream, you should endeavor not to Steam refund it. Most people would agree with that assessment in principle, but then there become unique situations, you know? What if the game doesn't technically work? And I would describe the Culling 2 in that camp, even though I haven't refunded it. That's a different situation. I think you're within your rights to refund it, of course. I mean, you're within your rights either way. What if, you know, the game costs 60 bucks, is a piece of trash, and, you know, on your stream, you make $1 on the average stream, which describes a lot of people. Well, then it's a different situation, you know? Absolutely. But I'm not calling out anybody in particular, because it's still the Wild West, you know? Nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody does things different ways. But I've seen big streamers, like, refund games that were not broken, but they didn't like them, but they made a lot of money off of the stream. And because inside of me is just a little, like a Gwyneth Paltrow sliding doors game developer that's like, well, frig me, I guess. You know, you made $2,500 off of streaming my game for an hour and then refunded it to get another $30 back, and basically told your audience that that's an okay thing to do. But here's the flip side. Maybe, and by the way, if you're saying just make a good game, I wish, dude. But if only it were so easy. But the flip side of it is maybe it's actually awesome. Maybe it's really cool that Steam allows you to basically have a 1 to 2 hour window to preview a game, and if you don't like it, you don't have to, you know, be stuck with the bill. It's anti-developer, I would say, but maybe it's extremely pro-consumer, and that's a positive thing. You know, you never want to take the position. I mean, the gaming consumers are my consumers as well. I don't want to come across like I'm alienating you guys. I have refunded games that I've streamed. I refund Damned, which Kate and I tried to play once. We spent 40 minutes trying to get into a lobby. Just never worked, frequent crashes. I said, all right, I'm going to refund it. But I didn't refund the Culling 2, and part of that is just humor's sake at this point, but another part of it is like, hey man, like I monetized your game. The least I could do, especially while I made fun of it, is, you know, you can keep 70% of 20 bucks, which is what the game costs, and, you know, minus Steam's cut. You know, it just seems at the bare minimum level of fair to me. Now, to be fair, it's such a trash fire that Xavient is refunding everybody who owned the game anyway, which is a very nice thing for them to do. And not only is it a nice thing for them to do, but it's not like they're giving up hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. You know, it's the right thing to do, looking at the situation from all sides, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's prickly. That's all I'm saying. It's like, you know, there's a lot of weird issues that I think some people concern themselves with when they're on this side of the business, and some people don't. I'm just too anal. You know, like, I've done sponsored deals for free-to-play stuff, and whenever you do sponsored deals for free-to-play stuff, developers, publishers usually go, hey, it's free-to-play, but don't worry, I'm gonna hook you up with like a buttload of coins so you can skip the grind. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. That's irresponsible. If you want to, like, unlock, you know, another faction so I can check them out and comment on the variety, that's fine. But if you're like, hey, here's like 1,000,000 coins and you got your face in the game, I don't know, I find that, like, it's an unrepresentative look at the game. Anyway, I'm blathering and soapboxing. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It was a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.